Everybody, it's Judy Klock, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia, coming to you tonight for another live tutorial. I am actually live tonight. So if you're with me, go ahead and let me know. Give me a hi, give me a shout out. Last week was taped because I was getting ready for Shenandoah Stampalooza, which I am happy to say was a huge success. Everyone had a great time. They really loved it. So join us for the next one. We're busy planning the next one for next year. All right, so today we're going to jump right in. Let me switch my camera. And we are going to work with the Reindeer Fun bundle. I just think this is such a cute bundle for the holiday season. And it comes with the stamps and the dies. I've got a lot of my dies. They are photopolymers. I've already got them on blocks because we're going to use them tonight. And then the dies, there are 18 dies, 18 matching dies. The dies will cut out the double reindeer, the bells, the single reindeer, and the tree. Those are the stamped images that the dies will cut out. But you've got a lot more here. You've got this pretty little accent piece, cuts out like evergreen leaves. You've got a wreath. You've got a couple of jingle bells, packages with some bows that you can add on to them, another little ribbon if you wanted to add it on to the reindeer or to one of the bows, some lights. If you cut this in, stamped it in black, cut it in white, and then colored in, you get a whole different colored lights. You've got the holly leaves and the berries, and then you've got these 3 deer heads that when you combine them, you can make like the deer head. So you can either make it with the antlers or without the antlers. And those are all the dies. Those are all the die cuts. So I just wanted to give you a visual, because I know sometimes when you get the dies, you're like, well, what do they cut? So I like to cut all of them first, just so I can see for myself. Oh yeah, this is what this one does. This is how this one looks. So it helps me get a better visual. So I hope it helps you also. All right, let's take a look. We're going to do 2 cards. So we're going to do this card. We're going to do a little embossing. We're going to do some coloring. We're going to do a little bit of brushing with our blender brushes, a little bit of blending. And then we're going to just make sort of a little non-traditional color Christmas card. I like that, the blue, though. It kind of picks up some of the blue from the designer series paper. So that will be card number 1. Hey, Joan, how you doing? Oh, good. I'm so glad your prize arrived. Great. And then our second card, or our first card, depending upon how we do it, we're going to make this one. This is very easy. But you do need, it's a little bit more advanced, I guess, because you would need the die cutting machine. But this is how you layer up those 3 deer pieces. See, we had these 1, 2, 3. So this is the bottom. This is the middle. That's the top layer. And I just cut them in different colors. And you can see how that really just makes that deer head pop. And then there's that little wreath. And this was just, a 2 3/8 of an inch circle punch. So let's go ahead. Let's start with this one first, because it's right on top. And this is going to be a fairly easy. There's not too much stamping. These measurements will always be on the blog post the next day, but it's our standard card base, 8.5, 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. On the inside, I've got basic white. That's 5 1/4 by 4. Our designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. I've got a couple of scraps here for cutting out our deer. So just whatever scraps you have handy. I did cut out a 2 3/8 of an inch circle out of real red. I did cut the wreath, and that was out of a scrap of garden green. I've got a piece of granny apple green. This is 4 by 1.5. And I just cut that out, and then I embossed it with that plaid 3D embossing folder. And then I have a scrap of basic white for our sentiment. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to stamp. May all your days be full of cheer. And we're going to stamp that in our real red. Okay. So for this, I'm using real red and granny apple green. And for our second card, I'm going to introduce some early espresso for the deer. Okay, so we've got that. All right, I got a little bit of smudge on there. Oh, you know what? That really did smush. Let's flip it over. Paper has two sides. Let's go here. Let's try again. I have a very big block. I really need to get a smaller block, but I've got another sentiment on there. So let's hope this one comes out better. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to stamp Merry Christmas on our inside piece in real red. Okay. All right, Merry Christmas. Then I'm going to stamp our holly leaves. I'll just put that over there. I'm going to leave the red open for a minute because I am going to use it again. But you know me, I do make a big mess. All right, so I'm going to stamp some holly leaves just kind of around my sentiment. The only reason I'm doing this is just to jazz up the inside a little bit. And then we've got these two little small clusters of holly berries that I'm just going to stamp in our leaves. And I don't really know how to do them. There's a good way or a not a good way, but there we go. So now we've got our holly berries in there. Let me close these because you know I tend to make a very big mess, but we're going to try to not have a big mess. All right, let's go ahead and add this to the inside. And again, this is going to go together very quickly. There's not a lot to this card, but like I said, the only thing that would make this a little bit more advanced than a beginner card is the fact that you do need to have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But again, if you are getting into paper crafting and you think you're going to like this hobby, go ahead and get it because you'll find that you will use it quite often. Now, I did emboss this. So I usually use liquid glue when I do embossed pieces, simply because for me personally, the liquid glue works better. The Stampin' Seal tends to rip the embossed cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue. It's off center. It's not quite at the full center. Okay. This we're going to put down on the bottom. We're going to throw some Stampin' dimensionals on them. And actually, I've got, here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and use like 3 just to cross it because this is only about 1 inch wide. Okay. I forgot that I had stamped on both sides. I'm like, oh no, what am I doing? But we got it. All right. Just going to put that down there. All right, now let's go ahead and cut our deer. Where's my mini? I think I can use the mini for this. Let's move that out of the way in our circle. I have my sweatshirt on because it is freezing in my basement. So whenever I come down here, if I don't want to freeze, I have to, I either turn on the heater or I put my sweatshirt on. So I just put my sweatshirt on because it's actually really kind of cold upstairs too. My husband likes it really cold. I do not. All right. So I've got my little mini. I've got my 1, my 2. I am going to, might have to do this twice. So this is the middle layer. The white is the middle layer. So we're going to use what I call the solid deer head. Actually, let me see if I can push that up a little further. Okay. Then we've got our early espresso. And we are going to cut the deer head with the antlers. And then we've got our pecan pie. Let me trim this down. Let me find my scissor. Okay. And then I'm going to use what I call like the open deer head. It's kind of got the holes in it compared to the others. All right. So we're just going to put that there. All right. Looks like we can get all of these at the same time. Let's go ahead and put that on there. Let me get that glue out of the way. Come on, let's go. Here we go. All right. Love the mini. If you don't have it, it's just a great little one to have. Sometimes you don't need to pull out the really big one. So I do like the mini. It's also a good one where going out in the RV because I can take the mini with me and it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. So any of you are RVers out there, the mini is the perfect size to take along if you still want to get some crafting done. Okay, so take my pick tool. Here we go. So we're going to show you how to layer these up. So remember this, the solid deer head is the middle layer. And he's not coming out of his, go. Then the antler is the bottom layer. Okay, come on. Come on out. Oh my goodness, these are really stuck in there tonight. There we go. And then the open one, the one with the holes, as I like to say, is our top layer. Now you can go ahead and put the adhesive sheets on the back of these, and that would make it really super easy to put this together. But I'm just going to go ahead and use our liquid glue. All right, so we're going to start with our white layer. That's going to go right on top of our early espresso layer. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Remember, with this, a little bit is really good. You don't need to have a lot of it. All right. So I'm just going to match it up as best as I can. Okay, now you see how the brown is coming through on the eyes and the nose. Okay, and I'm just gotta make sure this is all even. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to come up here and we're going to add our pecan pie layer. And this is the topmost layer. Okay, again, we're just going to use a little bit of glue. We don't need so much glue. Okay. If you're watching on replay, let me know where you're watching from, because I like to know where everybody's coming in from. I am in Virginia, and it's been kind of a dreary, cloudy day. A little bit of drizzle, not too much, but it's good because the farmers need it. So it's been good. All right. And then you just line this up and make sure that is all even with the ears and the bottom and stuff. And that's why actually the liquid glue does give you just a little tiny bit of extra time to get that layer on there. But that is all there is. That's how easy it is to put together that deer. You just got to go from the bottom to the top, and there you have your little deer head. Let's go ahead and finish our card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some glue, and I'm going to, well, it helps if the top is off the glue, doesn't it? Okay. It's been one of those weeks, folks. Okay, there we go. I'm going to add this. Okay, just kind of put that right there. I'm going to go ahead and add my deer head. Okay, and we're going to put him right in there. Just kind of like right in the center of that wreath. Okay. Now I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. All right. Just going to put on like 3 on my circle. Okay. Sounds like one of the pups is down here with me. I don't know. I thought they were all upstairs with my husband. Sometimes they come down with me. Sometimes I hang out upstairs with Jim. You know, it just depends upon what their mood is. All right, so we've got that. Now let's add some bling. We got a little bit of bling. So these have been really popular this year. They are currently out of stock, but they are coming back in stock before the holiday season. So you can get these little peppermint adhesive embellishments, but aren't they fun? I think they're fun. Let me put one there. And then our little deer needs a little bow. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give him on the red and white striped baker's twine. I'm going to tie a little bow. Okay. Oops. Go. Now my fingers are all sticky from the I haven't even had time to go to the salon and get another manicure. I had them done up for Stampalooza. They were like pink and green. It was pretty, but they didn't really do a great job. So it all started coming off. Oh well. First world problems, right? All right, I'm going to find a little glue dot, and we're going to add that little glue dot to our deer. Oh, there's one right there. Okay, just going to kind of put that there. Maybe if it sticks. And then we're just going to add our little string. And there is our first card. So how fun is that? Isn't that fun to make that little reindeer with 3 different parts? So cute. Again, a cute little card, pretty simple. Just, the putting the reindeer together is, I guess, the hardest part. So I'm also using this bundle for my October workshop. So I do either a virtual workshop, you can join in via Zoom, or you can join me in studio. The Zoom is always the 3rd Friday of the month, and then the in-person is the following Monday. So check out my Stampin' with Crafty Klock Facebook page, and you'll see under events, and you'll see the link for the workshop if you want to join me. All right, again, we're going to do another quick little card. We're going to do our Merry Christmas. I'm just going to keep it in the red. This is Pool Party. It's going to be our base. Our base, again, is standard 8.5, 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to do a Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to stamp that tree in, I'm going to actually close this up for now. I'm going to stamp the tree in green, in our garden green. Just keeping it simple by using just the colors. I always like to look at my designer series paper and see what colors are in the paper. And I try to keep it all in the same color family. It just makes it easy. And I try to limit the number of colors I am using, because sometimes it can get overwhelming when you have like so many different colors. So I try to keep it pretty simple. And obviously, if you don't have these colors, substitute what you have, because I know everybody doesn't have every color, and that's fine. All right. So now we're going to do something fun for the front. So I've got a piece of the Pool Party here. This is our standard 5 1/4 by 4. Then I have 4 pieces of designer series paper. This is the Reindeer Days designer series paper. And all I did was I cut 1 inch by 3.5 inch strips, and I just used the back. So they're all going to be relatively the same. I'm just going to use the back of like one piece. So I didn't use 4 different pieces. I used 2. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put these on. Okay. And I'm going to use glue, and I'm going to kind of just alternate how I put them on. All right. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of glue here. All right. And I'm just going to match that up to the top edge and the left edge. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're going to go with our red. All right. And then we're going to go with, I don't know, maybe I'll go with our trees now. Maybe I'll go with that one next. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong way to put the strips on. Just have 4 different designer series paper. Okay, got that. And then we'll go here with our trees. All right. Now, that will fit right there. Okay. Now, because these might be just a little bit uneven, I just took a piece of shaded spruce. This is 3/4 inch by 4 inches. And we're just going to kind of put that along there just to kind of hide that bottom edge, just in case they're a little bit uneven. This just is a little trick that you can do to make it look nice. All right, now, this is an optional step, but I think it makes it look really fun. We're going to go ahead and we're going to emboss this with the plaid embossing folder. So now we've got to bring in the big boy. Move this stuff out of my way. I still haven't quite dug out from Stampin' Palooza. I still have things that I need to put away, and I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. Raise your hand if your craft area looks like a tornado hit it, because mine certainly does. I was doing so well, and then I had Stampapalooza to get ready for, and then I came home, and my gosh, I was so tired Sunday. I ended up taking a 3-hour nap. I was exhausted, but it was so much fun and so worth it. All right. So now, again, this is an optional step, but I think it turns out, look at how cool that looks. It almost looks like it's all quilted together, and it really just adds a nice little something. I think. You may not agree with me, but I like the way that looks. All right, I got to oil this chair, man. It's very... So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that there. I'm just going to add some liquid glue again, because this is embossed. I find it works better with liquid glue than with Stampin' Seal, but that's, again, just me. All right. Let's go ahead and put this on. And that piece of Pool Party was 4 by 5 1/4, if I didn't mention that. But like I said, I always put the measurements for all of the pieces on the corresponding blog post, which I usually write like the next day. So tomorrow, that will be my job, is to write the blog post for this. So that is that piece. So now we're going to stamp I just had it. The mama deer or the daddy. I guess it's, I don't know. It might be a mama deer. The adult deer with the baby deer. Let's go there. Because I think for some reason, I remember that female reindeer actually have antlers. I might have to check that. See if that is factually correct. There, let me just, of course I had it. So I used early espresso. Okay, we're going to stamp our deer. And then I used our pecan pie blends to color them. Now, I am not going to color all of them. This is, oh, dark. I wanted light. I wanted light for the baby, because I know it takes a long time and it's very boring to watch somebody color, but just to give you an idea. So I just kind of colored in the baby. I left parts of it white, like the tummy and the underneath the tail, because I think if you ever see deer in the wild, when they turn and run, the undersides of their tails are actually white. That's why they're called white tails. Anyway, I just left that, and I left like the inside of the ear white, but you can see, I'm just going to color that, but you can see I've already colored one so that we were ready to go. But that was it. And then I just took the darker blend, and I just kind of added a little bit of highlights. Again, you don't have to do that. That's just something I did because I liked it. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut it out. And I've got my dies in here. This is a 4 by 6 garage door magnet. This is how I store my sets. I put my dies in with my stamp sets. For me, it just is easier. I know where everything is. So just one of the things that I like to do. All right. Actually, I think this will work on the mini. I think this will work on the mini. Okay. Yeah. Right now, what I also like to do is, once I get this all set, is there is a little bit of the tape, the 3M tape, if I can find it in this mess. It's over here. It's in my die cutting station. This is great to use to just kind of help hold the die in place as it goes through. So this is all it is. It's Post-it tape. It just kind of helps hold this die in place. And I don't put it too much on my image, but let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and cut this out. Here we go. I can already tell my internet is going. So we have satellite internet while I was away at Stampalooza, apparently lightning hit the tower. So Jim, my poor husband, was without the internet like the weekend I was gone, and that's how our TV is on a streaming service. So, all right, so we have our deer, our die cut. So now I wanted to add just a little bit of color to this. So I took our pool party and a blending brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the top part of that white cardstock. And that size is 3 by 4.5. And I'm just going to kind of start it off, and I'm just going to kind of add some light color. And again, you can add as much or as little color as you want. I just wanted it to not be quite so white. So I went ahead and did that. That looks good to me. That's got enough color on there, just so it's not like bright white. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp Christmas is Better Together. And we're going to stamp that in our real red. Okay. We'll stamp that down here. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and add that mama and her baby up there. And again, I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue because this has a lot of little parts. I feel like I'm slurring my words. And I haven't even had anything to drink. Yikes. I've had a wild cherry Pepsi. That's it. That's about as wild as we get here. I usually drink a lot of water, but I treated myself to a wild cherry Pepsi today. It's like the soda I have like once every 6 months. I don't drink a lot of soda. All right. And we got that. Now, before we do anything, I want to add some of that twine. We're going to add it around here. And we're going to tie it in a bow. And I like to tie it first before I cut it, just because it makes it easier. I don't waste a whole lot that way. All right. I am going to, if I can find it, is the reverse tweezer. This was one of the gifts that we gave out at the Stampalooza. They got a reverse tweezer. So the one thing we did do, which was so much fun, we played Losers Bingo, which if you've never played Losers Bingo, everyone starts out standing up. And as soon as your number is called, as soon as the number that you have is called, you sit down and you're out of the game. So the last person standing is the winner. So it was funny because one of the women there was just, jokingly saying, "Oh my gosh, these cards, they're terrible. I don't have any numbers." And she ended up winning. She's like, "Oh, these cards are dud." I'm like, "Aren't you glad those cards were duds now?" So it was fun. All right, let me add my Stampin' Dimensionals. Keep losing them. All right, and we're just going to add these. We're going to pop these on there. I might kind of put one right over my twine to help hold it in place. And one there. Okay, now we've got that. Yikes. Okay, we're going to put that right over there. And then we're going to add our bling. Coming in with our bling. And this is our second card. So again, what a fun little card. This is just such a fun set. I really like this Reindeer Fun bundle. So I hope that you like these cards. I hope that they are inspired you with some new ideas to try. I just have fun with it. So I hope that you will like it. If you did, please share the video. I would so appreciate it. That is it for me. I'll be back next week. I will plan out what I'm going to do throughout the month of October, and I'll see you next week. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. If you're in the path of the hurricane, please stay safe. Talk to you all soon. Bye.